Good morning, everyone. Today is April the 8th, 2021. This is StockCast, your pre-market show. My name is James Mason. With me is Todd Derby. Todd, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. Good morning to you, and good morning to all of our listeners.
Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. All right. So the Dow futures are currently just going sideways. They're only positive 2 points. S&P 500 up 13 points. Right now, the market, the pre-market at least, is flat, just all around. So we are coming into springtime. And with that being said, the volume starting now on into the summer gets very, very low, which sucks. So it's going to make pre-market harder to trade, and it's going to make you have to stay on top of your research and get in before the catalyst pop. So keep that in mind, guys. For day trading, it becomes tougher with that lower volume. Unless if there's a significant push pre-market to where you could day trade options, it's challenging. Just keep that in mind. All right. So Todd, let's get into it. Let me pull up some comments. I know the question is going to be asked about ticker. Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what?
You want to talk about fun?
Yeah, let's talk about fun. YouTube's going to have fun hitting us with that copyright strike.
Yeah. I decided to play that and take it out of Johnny's cut.
All right. You know what, YouTube? I ain't scared. I don't even care. Y'all pay us pennies on ad revenue. All right. So for ticker PHUN, there's the chart, but let's look at this following that they had, and this is why I'm going to talk about this. I see a lot of people freaking out about it. I am in this trade, and yesterday they released the filing stating that they need to raise $25 million. Now, what makes this offering different than offerings that usually just beat down the price is the offerings that just straight mess up your trades in the middle of the night are when they actually have a price offering in there and they have already sold the shares. Now, this offering right here, they haven't sold the shares yet. What they're saying is they're going to raise $25 million in the future. And with them following this, they don't have to, file when they actually, start selling shares. So what's probably going to happen, I would like to say what will happen, but I can't talk in absolutes. What is probably going to happen is they will need their stock to spike. And this is one thing that I look for when I'm doing my research. It doesn't make sense right now to sell 25 million worth of shares. All right, Todd, you just want to cough over me when I'm talking?
I'm sorry. I should have muted.
I'm just messing with you. All right. It wouldn't make no sense for them to sell $25 million worth of shares right here when they can do whatever and pump their stock up. This thing has a relatively low float, low outstanding share or structure overall. So they're going to need this to pump up to really get their money's worth. And that's what they're going to want to do. Let's take a look back at ticker JAN. And this is just an example. So this ticker JAN, this thing did have a super low float. And literally, I traded this thing twice at the end of last year and just very, very little at the beginning of this year. But traded last year on this spike. This is pretty much just a day trade. Back here around December 11th, it opened up around 4:15 this day, and then it actually spiked up after hours. It's like $9, $10, I think. And then, it died off. Well, it kept going on, did its thing, tested again, and then it eventually broke out about a month later. Like really broke out. Went up here and almost hit $32 a share. That's the type of offering that we're looking at right here for ticker PHUN. Now, I'm not saying it's going to go up to $32. That's just what happened with this company. But that offering right there, they need their stock to spike for it to be worth it, really. And whenever it does, that's when they sell to make money. Now,
go ahead. I was going to say, and to be clear, this happens every day that companies raise money this way for operational costs. So the fact that we're in it and we're ahead of the curve, they're going to lay the groundwork and make this happen. It's just a matter of waiting for the trap to get sprung, and we'll be good to go.
And whenever this happens, well, can't speak in absolutes. If this happens, it's gonna spike off the dumbest news. That's just the way it is. It's gonna spike off of news that is gonna. You're just gonna be like, that's not really significant, but okay, whatever, it benefits me. Now, everybody else in the market, a lot of them, they're gonna see the dumb news and they're either A, gonna say, that's not significant, I'm not gonna chase it. But there's gonna be a pump going on here, coming from the company, coming from their big investors, not us as retail, like the real deal, and firms. There'll be a pump going on here, and I mean they're going to push this thing up. So the time frame, you can never predict these movements. Obviously, would rather have it sooner than later, but from my experience, they usually happen. And this is pretty broad time frame, but from my experience, they usually happen within 3 months from when they do that filing. And it varies. So that's what I'm looking for right here in ticker PHUN. And it's going to be one of those standbys to stand by. Just wait for it to happen. So the day that it spikes, you better be ready. You better have some sell orders in, and don't try to chase that thing for whatever astronomical number. Take what the market gives you. And
actually, it'll be a short candidate. If there's 99%, the news will be fluffy, and this will be a short candidate that'll be
absolutely.
on our radar.
Absolutely. All right. Excuse me. Let's see in the comments. Cameron Day. Can we take a look at ticker? Oh man, my chair shifted. Can we take a look at ticker QK? And that actually scared me. My chair shifting. QK. All right, pre-market. I'm assuming that they don't have, or they don't trade pre-market because there's no volume yet. So looking at the share structure, last update, short interest, pretty much 26,000, so nothing for short interest. Shares outstanding, 47.8 million shares outstanding. The float, 5.3 million shares. So that's a nice share structure. The news, the only thing I'm seeing is back in February. So it's been a while for any news, any filings. I have no idea what is going on in this company. But really just looking at it, we don't have too much data to go off of. Going back to beginning November 2019 on a daily chart. It's just been downtrending ever since, but kind of looks like it's kind of holding a support here on this daily chart. Right here around this 225 range. So we do have support here. Potentially, if we break above this range, I'm going to change this color. All right. if we break above this 335, we do stand a decent chance to make a small push up here to about 445. I mean, overall, it's not going to be a great push. I mean, you might be able to pick something off out of this, unless if they just like drop a phenomenal catalyst of some sort. So that's what I'm looking at here. This thing overall will need to trend out longer before I could get serious about it. But what tends to happen is they'll make a little push up here, get rejected off this 200 EMA line on a daily chart, pull back, go sideways for a while, and then make that push later on, and usually breaks the highs at this point. But kind of in the now moment, I mean, this is just what you have to go off of. Support around 225. We're currently at 267. A smaller breakout point would be about 335 above that, breaking above that. Should see some bullish momentum up to about 445. And, overall, this wouldn't be something that I would trade yet, unless if I just didn't have anything on my radar. But this is ticker QK. All right, let's see what else we got in the comments.
Take a look at PRQR.
PRQR.
Boss man asked about that today.
That's update on the short interest. 1.17 million shares being shorted. 2.75% of the float. 1.6 days of the cover. Shares outstanding, 66.1 million shares. The float, 41.8 million shares. All right. Looks like they have a couple filings at the top of their news. Just scanning the headlines. I see something about an offering. I'm not sure what kind of offering, though. So that might be worth looking into, but looking at this daily trend, let's see.
Boss, was there something that you're curious about on this commentary?
I'm just going to draw some trend lines here. All right. So for this one, what I'd have to see before deciding to enter this, if I was going to enter this, is I need to see what it's going to do here. I absolutely could not enter this thing below $6.76. So I'm going to need to see this thing kind of sell off, bounce, whatever the heck it's going to do, and then pull back up here, break above that 676 range, and my next resistance. So this will act like a little breakout point, but also support once we get back above it. If I had to have a stop loss in, a stop loss would be down here around 606. But I need to see it bounce in this range, break back above 676. Next resistance will be around 770. If this thing could hold up and actually break above this 890 range in the future, probably see a decent breakout up to about 1090, maybe 11. And after that, I'm not too sure we could even test this $14 range. Now, what will always play into this right here is what's going on in these filings. Again, I just said that I do see something about an offering off the top of their news. So if they actually have a offering in there that has a price where they're saying that they done sold shares at, then that kind of changes changes the whole game here. But just looking at this from a technical standpoint, that's the ranges that I see for ticker PRQR.
All right. We have one that's moving right now. It's ENTX. We've talked about in the past. A little gap up right now. Boss called that one out also.
All right, ENTX. So seeing a little spike here from 380 up to, well, currently at 390. So we'll have to see what's going on there. But we can also see that yesterday and the day before. So we do have a little pattern here over the last 3 days with ENTX. Someone keeps tapping at pre-market, making it spike up about 5 to 10 cents, and then it obviously sells off after that, just because it's not selling off. It's just the difference between the bid and the ask. So I'm not sure if someone's just trying to hold up the price, which, I mean, I'll be honest, I've done that before. Just buy like 100 shares or so, or even 1,000 shares, just to gap it up 10 cents, knowing that it's going to pull back. But, just holding up, strategically holding up the price in a certain range for it to catch up to itself in the future. But that could be it. Because back now on this 5-minute chart, we see this nice run back here, and then just kind of, profit taken, but it's kind of leveling out at this point. So could be setting up to make another little run again. If we do run, we might see that push back up here to about 790, maybe a little bit more. It might break above that high and then take off running.
Lord, I can't find where they released any news. So if they have, it hasn't popped up on my news. I've checked a couple of different sources. So, but if they do release something, it will make a little run.
All right. Let's see. One of the comments. The POAI dropped yesterday. Honestly, because I have so many shares in it yesterday, I was like, oh, crap. But if you really look at it, it only moved around, 10, 12 cents. So overall, I'm not worried about it. But that doesn't mean that it needs to keep pushing down here. We do have a little support and a stop loss range, which I'm going to trade this with no stop. That's just me personally. But we do have that range right around 103. If we do break below that, we do risk it potentially coming down here to this 60-cent range overall, in my opinion. Just looking at the charts. Hopefully we don't, but based off this setup, we probably will test the slower to $1 range, just looking at the trend. It was holding up nicely, consolidating. Before yesterday, I honestly felt like it was just consolidating and about ready to rip up. But whatever's going on here, I have no idea. There's no news or anything. Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's just the market for you. Now, what this kind of reminds me of is ticker SNMP, how we traded this one in the past. You look, literally almost the same setup. It came back up here, consolidated, pulled back, and a lot of people started freaking out because, it did drop back here all the way to the mid 80s, and then it bounced back up. People started getting back in again, then pulled back again to the low ones, and then it finally spiked. So, yeah. So when this thing actually did spike, let me actually put it up in the 5-minute chart. The daily chart looked like it said like 165, but it actually came up here to about 314. And hopefully that is what we could get in ticker POAI if you look at that daily chart. So hopefully it just goofs off in this range. They release news in the future, like soon, and we get a nice spike like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, some have called POAI our next APOP.
Absolutely. That is
Yeah,
amazing. POAI is my next APOP.
That's a pretty strong statement, actually.
It is. It is.
Someone's asking about the strategy on 3 tickers because there's some news coming up on them. FBIO, ATXI, and SEEL. These are all biopics. FBIO and ATXI have their PDUFA date Monday, and it's a class 1 information, which I'm not sure what that means, other than I just read that class 1 is very strong, is stronger than class 2. And I plan on holding through the news on Monday for those 2. And I'm going to roll the dice on it. And it's because it has not spiked up. Neither ticker has spiked up. It's just slowly and gradually increased. SEAL, I closed my position on SEAL, but I may reconsider getting in. They've got 3 or 4 catalysts coming up, and that one could be a 3 to 6 month hold. You're not going to go wrong there. So SEAL, I'm less worried about, but I'll be watching the other 2 very closely on Monday with the news.
All right, let's look at one more, Todd. Ticker KMPH. Hold on a second. All right, so I don't see nothing documented for short interest. Shares outstanding, 28.3 million shares. Float, 27.5 million shares. Looking at the news. Let's see, looking at the top of the news. Seen something about some patents, so we do have a catalyst right there. Not sure overall what the company is doing. Let's see, test limit. No, I just said I'm not trading. Oh, never mind. That was a POAI, but PHIO, I'm probably going to stay in it and hold it without a stop loss as well, since it's so cheap. All right, so KMPH, we have a decent share structure. We do have we do have a couple catalysts here on the horizon. The only thing that's kind of concerning for me is why I can't find any short interest data. That I don't know why I'm not pulling that up at the moment, but we do see this thing being beat down for a long period of time here, going sideways. I do like that setup. I do like that. We are currently right above. I mean, we're barely above that 200 EMA line with that daily 9 EMA line, but still, nonetheless, we're above it. What I like to look for is when they've done their last split. So on December 28th, going to split right here. The high was 1447 for that split. We're currently at 1035, and what I do next is just start charting it out. So give me one moment.
We talked about a ticker yesterday that you couldn't find a short notice on, short information either, and it turned to be a real turd. SOS.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even look at it today. What is it doing? Have you looked at it?
I haven't, but I think sometimes you have to use lessons going forward.
Mm-hmm.
At 539.
All right. So if I was going to enter ticker KMPH, I would have to wait for it to break above $12.10 to start to see an uptrend again. That next target zone will be between 1535 on up to about 1840 in that range. If there's catalysts come through with his patents, then up to 22.40. But if I was already in this thing, my stop loss would be about $8.10, and then the rest of other stuff. I'd have to wait for it to break it back above, 12.10 to start seeing that bullish trend again. So that is what I see for ticker KMPH.
All right.
All right. So yeah, that's all I have today. Looking at the futures again, still going sideways. Looking at all my scanners and whatnot, there just ain't nothing pre-market right now. So
with that, trade smart, trade safe, be careful, don't do anything silly, and we will talk to you guys in the morning.
Absolutely, guys. Again, when there's slim pickings pre-market, don't chase it. When there's not much to trade pre-market, there's not much to short pre-market. Just remember that. So all the bears will pile in on one ticker if it's the only thing moving. So everyone, trade safe. We will see y'all in the next one, and we appreciate y'all.
Thank you.